Hello and welcome to the Crochetluna Vlogcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from the San Diego area in Southern California. Yes, I am back. It's only been a couple of weeks and I'm hoping to keep the schedule. Actually, I'm planning some new changes to the Vlogcast. Hopefully I can upload more often. But I'll talk about that later. Anyway, I am so happy to be here with you. It is Sunday, September 25th? 6th. September 26th. And I am recording from my house in Southern California where it is very, very overcast. And I couldn't be happier. I am so done with the heat. I just can't take it. I am ready for fall. I know a lot of you are as well. This is season 5, episode 2 of the Vlogcast, and I am calling this one Stashtober. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I've started a hashtag Stashtober21. I'll put it down here. And that hashtag is the one that we're going to be using for our Stashtober crochet along that's coming up starting October 1st. I want to first give you a quick health update. That's how I usually start the Vlogcast. For those of you who don't know me, I live with rheumatoid arthritis, have for the last 25 years. And God, has it been 25 years? It will be 25 years next year. I was diagnosed at 25. Was it that long ago? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I was in my mid-20s, and I believe I was 25 when I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I will be 50 next year. And yeah, I've lived with this autoimmune for most of my adult life. And thank God that I live in the time that I do with the new medications, because if I live with the aggressive arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis that I have, if I had lived even, I don't know, 50 years ago, I would most likely be probably completely disabled. That is one of the things that I'm so grateful for, that if I was going to live with an autoimmune, that I live in a time where technology and science and medicine is advanced, so that it gives people like me a chance to live a pretty normal life, really. So anyway, the last 2 weeks have been really good. Usually when there's a change in weather, not from hot to cold, but when the barometric pressure drops or changes, suddenly I do end up getting some flare-ups, but I haven't really noticed that. And so it's been really good. And I've been really energized by a consistently low pain that I've been experiencing these last 2 weeks, to be able to crochet and do some of the things that I've been up to. So I think we should just dive in, right? It says talking about Stashtober. And there are a couple of reasons I'm holding this cow. I was adamant. You guys know, if you saw my last video, I said no more cows, right? No more cows, because I haven't been really active with them. No more cows until the end of, until next year. Whatever the reasons, I had set my mind that I was not going to do any more crochet alongs, at least host them myself, right? But two things happened. One is I have been in a process of trying to reorganize my crafting / workspace for months. I mean, it's been months that I have been trying to do this, and I just can't, or I just couldn't put it together. Something about what was happening in this space, that every time I feel like I was taking 2 steps forwards, I end up taking 4 steps back. And so I've been at odds. I've been fighting this organization purging situation for many, many months. So that brings me to the real catalyst the real catalyst of why I'm hosting this cow. And it happened last episode when I showed you this yarn. This is and I apologize for the lighting. This is a biscotti yarn. I purchased this some time ago. I'll show you the tag. Do you see I paid $31 for this skein of yarn? And I'll get to why I mentioned the price. So I started working with this yarn because I wanted to make the Citrus Grove Beanie. I showed this on my last video. This is a gorgeous pattern by Cerulean Orchid. And if you want to know more about Cerulean Orchid, I would highly encourage you to check out my previous video where I go in depth and talk about Jean Ann, who's a designer for this company. I've got no fancy mugs today, you guys. I'm drinking straight out of the bottle because everything is in the dishwasher right now. So anyway, I started working and I showed a swatch of not swatch, but I showed the beginning of the hat. And I was using this yarn. And I had mentioned that I wasn't really liking the colors, but that I might just finish it and give it away. But you know what? After the video, I sat down, I put a couple more rounds, and I just knew that not only was I not enjoying crocheting with the yarn, not because the yarn isn't beautiful in the sense that it's a great high quality yarn. What I'm about to tell you has nothing to do with Biscotti or their yarns. This is not a criticism of the company. Let me be very clear. This is a very well-known company who makes a high quality product. The criticism is not about the company or the yarn. But there's something about having purchased this yarn probably 4 years ago at I believe it was at the San Diego Yarn Crawl. I purchased it because when it was in the skein form, it looked really beautiful. It caught my attention. I purchased it. And it sat in my stash for 3 or 4 years until I pulled it to work on the Citrus Grove Beanie. Right? So I'm working with the yarn and I thought to myself, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to finish it. I'm not going to work it. I really don't care that I paid $31 for the skein of yarn. I don't really care that it's been sitting in my stash so that it would force me to use it. But what I realize is that having accumulated, see that right there? That's just like the tip of the iceberg, right? Having accumulated so much yarn these last years, I don't know, I started crocheting in the fall of 2013. So you're looking at so many years of collecting yarn. And my stash has evolved, right? Like everyone's stash, when you start working with acrylic and you discover hand-dyed yarns, you kind of gravitate to the hand-dyed yarns. Even though I've always used acrylic, I don't have any issue with it. I still have acrylic in my stash. But there comes a shift, right? When you start watching the podcast, you start watching what other people are doing, and you gravitate, at least, let me not speak for anyone, let me speak for myself. I gravitated to the hand-dyed yarns. And so I began, amassing this collection of yarns. But like anything that you buy, anything, whether it's shoes, purses, clothing, whatever you buy, right? Sometimes you outgrow those tastes. Sometimes you might have collected a certain thing for many, many years, and then you kind of get saturated with the things from, that make up that particular collection, and then you just kind of enjoy the collection, and maybe you don't buy as much of it. Maybe you just, have this collection, right? And so what I realize is that over the years, I have bought some beautiful yarn. Like, beautiful yarn. And I enjoy looking at the beautiful yarn, right? But, you know, there's jokes about how, like, you know, buying yarn can be a different thing than working with the yarn, right? As in, I collect yarn because it makes me happy, because I love it and I want it, as opposed to I'm buying this yarn because I want to make a sweater, a hat, whatever. So I've been sitting a lot with these kind of thoughts for the past week. And I think, you know, there comes a time for me to, in order to move on, in order to do that next thing that I want to do, I really have to let go of things that are not going to facilitate that process. And for me right now is yarn that I no longer think I will ever work with, right? It's beautiful. I think it's, you know, could have worked when I bought it had I used it, you know, with that specific window where my tastes were gravitating to those particular palettes. But now I'm at a different point. So what is the best thing to do? Do I sell it? One of the things that I have come to realize is that very few of the yarns that I have really have appreciated value. So there's that thing of like, you know, I'm not going to get somebody to buy this skein of yarn for $31 again, right? So that is not something that I'm looking to do. But you know what I would like to do is find a new home for this yarn. So I am going to offer up this skein of yarn for free to anybody watching the video who has a plan for it. So if you want the yarn, leave me a comment below with a picture or a link to the pattern that you are going to use with this yarn. I'm not telling you you've got to get this yarn and you've got to crochet the project right now, but just tell me, next year in January, I would like to make this and I will be using this yarn to make it, or I would like this yarn to make it, right? Have a plan for the yarn. Send me a link to the pattern. Because, you know, if we get a lot of links to different patterns, that would be great, because then maybe we could discover new patterns. But send me your proposal for this yarn and I will, oops. Man, it just doesn't want to stay with me. Send me your proposal for what you want to do with this yarn and I will pick someone, and on my next video, I will let you know. Okay? So again, this is a biscotti yarn, and it's 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. You know, this could be a pair of socks or a shawl, whatever you want. So that's the first thing, right? And then second, I am diligently going through my stash and really seeing what skeins of yarn I would like to work with in the next year. I mean, of course, I can't crochet up everything that I have, or, you know, I don't have plans for, but I know what palette I am working with right now that's really calling my name. And kind of know the colors that I'm attracted to right now, and I really want to be very purposeful in curating that for myself. In terms of the stuff that I know I'm not going to work with, I just have to think about what I want to do with that. Maybe I just destash, but like maybe I'll take a medium size box from USPS and or do a flat rate and fit some yarn in it and just put it up for sale, like mystery boxes type situation. I don't know. I know I'm not going to recoup the cost of it. That's not really the point, but I would like for the yarn to maybe have a second opportunity to actually become something. And so that's the reason why I said, I have so much really nice yarn and I want to make something. Like, I want to make something with my stash, And I thought, I know a lot of really good designers who have good, like really awesome stash busting patterns, really beautiful designs. And I reached out to them, and I was happy that so many of them said yes and jumped on board. So to give you the quick guideline for the Stashtober, you must use, oh my gosh, it's so hard to talk. Is it because it's Sunday? What? I don't know. So you must use yarn from Stash. So do not buy new yarn. You must use a pattern from the participating designers, and we've got plenty. There's Rosina from Zines and Roger. There is Faye from Crochet Circle podcast. There's Hannah from the Cozy Cottage. There's Heather from HG Designs. Then there's Michelle from Dora Explored, which she's actually a new designer for me. I've actually bought some of her patterns and I've never done them, but I'm really excited to be working with her pattern for Stashtober. There's Clarissa Beth of Crochet Cakes. There's Kalisha from Quirky Monday podcast. And I think that's everyone, right? Did I say Faye, Rosina, Hannah, Clarissa Beth, Kalisha, Michelle, and Heather? Yes. If you would like to use a Crochetluna pattern, I didn't put it on the list, but you're welcome to do that as well. I don't have an extensive gallery of, or an extensive library of patterns, but if you think one of mine will work, then go ahead and use it. If you have a whip from one of these designers, let's say you started a shawl that Rosina designed, and it's no more than 50%, you're welcome to use it. So you still have to be using one of the patterns from these designers. If you have a whip, though, that you started, maybe this will be what helps you get it done, right? So we're still using those designs by those designers, patterns from those designers. But if you have a whip, you are more than welcome to enter. This is not a prize-driven crochet along. Okay? I want to make something very clear. I feel that if you are just going to enter a crochet along or a cal or whatever in along for the prize, that's not really the point. I mean, it's fun and it's great, but I just really want you to reconnect with your stash. I really want you to go look at what you have, because we all have beautiful yarn, and pick a yarn that you like and pick a pattern that you like, and let's make something for October. I think it's going to be amazing. I really, really do. I'm super excited, and I want you to be excited. And I'll show you what like I was saying, I am going to be doing a Dora Does pattern. It's called Any Yarn Will Do Cardigan. This pattern allows you to use 5 different yarn weights, from 4-ply to super chunky. Now, I printed all the pages because I want you to see the value that you get for the price of this pattern. This is basically a book. It's got detail information. It's got, I even put on here, it's got photos, a color coordinated size measurement, so that if you have a particular size that you're working with, those instructions or those numbers are color coordinated. It's got a stitch counter. It's sized up to 3XL, which is up to 60 inches, you know, in the bust area. And so I just want you to know that this pattern has a lot of value. I think that if you've been wanting to make a cardigan, that this is an awesome starting point for anyone. And you can see that, you know, she's got it, like, this is the one that I'm going to make. But look how long this one is. And then this one looks almost cropped. These two look cropped. I think that's really cute. So it looks like a very versatile pattern. I'm really, really happy. And the yarn that I'm going to be using from Stash is, first of all, here's my bag. I've had this bag. I got it at Stitches West in 2020. Is it 20? I think this was the last yarn show that we went to, right? And the yarn is from a dyer that I worked with on many collaborations. I don't know that she's still dyeing, and it's Heidi from Wolfie Wool. She dyed this yarn for me for a Summer of Romance sweater that I never did. It was going to be my Negan sweater, right? I think the theme that year was, you know, boys or girls we love, you know, we love, or something like that. I don't even remember the theme. But anyway, my guy was Negan, so that should tell you. And I have 4 skeins of this yarn. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's a lot deeper red in person than you're seeing on the screen. It looks very bright red, but I love it. So I want to make this cardigan in this yarn. I've got exactly the right amount of yardage to make it, which I'm really happy about, because the whole time I thought, I really want to make a sweater. Do I have a sweater's quantity of anything? And what I liked about Michelle's patterns is that there's a lot of customization that you can do. You know, as you can see, this one right here has multiple colors. So I'm sure that if you have, you know, bits and pieces left from another project, you can make one of her cardigans. Anyway, I will link all of the designers participating below in the show notes, and you can check out their Ravelry shops or websites for their patterns. If you do not access Ravelry, a lot of these designers have other ways that you can purchase their patterns. I know Clarissa Beth is going to be doing a coupon, and I apologize, Clarissa Beth, I couldn't find my notes on what you said the percentage is off, and because I'm using my phone to record, I can't just look it up. But I will put the information for the coupon in the description, in the notes down below, so that you can see it. I know the coupon is going to run October 1st through October 30th. So if you wanted to jump along and, you know, go research the pattern and just purchase it on the 1st, then you can do that with a little bit of a discount. And then Michelle from Dora Does It is going to create a blog post of many of her stash busting patterns, which I think is great. I mean, I just kind of threw it out there, and I love how excited people are getting about the idea of stash busting in October. And the other thing is, I decided that on October 23rd, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I think by then, no, it's still going to be Pacific Standard Time. We're not going to be going into daylight savings until after Halloween. So 12 p.m., I think it's a Saturday. Pretty sure it's a Saturday. 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will be hosting a Zoom event. And I'm hoping a lot of the designers will pop on by, and then we can chat and we can work on our projects and have a really, really good time. I really want to be engaged with you for this long. And, well, it's not really in a long, it's a cow, because it's only for crocheters. It's only for people who want to crochet. Knitting is not going to be accepted for this cow. And I'm doing that for a specific reason. And it's because I just want to be a crocheter in October. I've been doing some knitting and it's great, but at heart, I'm a crocheter, and I want to welcome all of the crocheters and host a crochet along. Now, if you're a knitter and you want to crochet, or if you're a knitter and a crocheter, of course you're welcome, but we're only going to be crocheting in October for this cow. I've always opened my alongs to both knitting and crochet, but I thought I'd be a little selfish in October, and I want to see what everybody is going to crochet, what everybody's going to create with their hook and their yarn. All right, let's talk about the San Diego Yarn Crawl. The San Diego Yarn Crawl was a couple of weeks ago. Yes, a couple of weeks ago. And I was really happy to see it come back after it didn't happen in 2020, obviously. And from the 2019 Yarn Crawl to the 2021 Yarn Crawl, we did lose some yarn chops, unfortunately, which was a bummer. But I really was excited to get out. And so Cousin Evelyn and I, if you guys don't know, I have my cousin Alex, who married Evelyn, so she's Cousin Evelyn now, is a crocheter. And so we decided on Sunday, even though at one point I had decided I was not going to go to any yarn shops, because I was like at that point so frustrated with the stuff that I have here. I'm like, I don't need to get anything else and bring anything else into this house. Was like, I don't want to do it. So, but finally, I'm like, you know what? It'll be nice to get out and see what's going on. And I had more than a couple. I had several shops that I wanted to get out and see what they were doing. So Cousin Evelyn and I decided we would go Sunday, which was the last day of the crawl, with a specific number of yarn shops that we wanted to visit. I will tell you, and Evelyn, hey Evelyn, if you see this and you wanted to leave a comment, I would welcome it, because we went to a yarn shop. I'm not going to name the yarn shop. And we just had one of those experiences. And at first I thought, I don't know why, because I've had so many of them. I don't know why there's a moment when you're in the experience where you're like, is this really happening? Or am I just being overly sensitive? And you start this whole questioning thing. And I was like, am I picking up this vibe because I think what is happening, right? And what was happening is that Evelyn and I were in a part of the shop, and we were basically being followed. One of the employees there was overseeing what we were doing, and it just was that kind of experience, right? And so I actually purchased some stuff there because it happened. I grabbed the stuff that I liked and I left it on the counter. And so I was like, I really, I was at that point still thinking, is this really happening? But okay, whatever. And I liked what I had picked out, so I decided, I'll purchase it. And so I made my purchase, and then we go to the car, and Emily was like, that lady was following us. I was like, right? This is the shit that's still happening, right? That wasn't like my imagination. This woman was basically in this space, in our, let's call it our bubble that we were in. And she was basically monitoring what we were doing. So I was like, whatever. I'm like, let's just go to another yarn shop. I said, I know that these other 2 yarn shops are like the ones that we always have a good experience in, and we always enjoy ourselves. And so that's what we did. But still, it's still something that you're just like, the hell, people. Like, I'm just still surprised, but not surprised that in 2021, I would still be followed in a yarn shop. For what reason? Like, I'm not sitting there, trying to steal anything. I'm actually buying stuff. And it was an unfortunate event. And I think, every time Evelyn and I have gone to these crawls, every time we have gone together to these kind of things, there's always one place where we both walk out and say, yeah, that just happened, right? So anyway, to all yarn shop owners that may or may not be watching this, brown people are not the people that are coming into your shop and stealing shit. I might edit that out, but I don't know. It's just, at this point, I gotta laugh about it, right? I gotta laugh and move on and just understand that this is still the world that we live in. Anyway, I'm going to show you the stuff that I got. And it's in no particular order. And like I said, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just not going to mention the shops that we went to. But I will show you what I got because I very much enjoy what I purchased. And I did buy some yarn, but I also bought some non-yarn things. And the first, it wasn't like a Malabrigo type of weekend. Like, that's the thing that I would have to say that I noticed, that there was not as much, I think, indie dyed yarn available. Or I think that again, going back to how taste changed, I'm not so much attracted to like super variegated stuff or speckled stuff, because I feel like it's just become such a challenge for me to work with it. And I am gravitating more to tonal colors or solid colors. And so I think, I don't know if this is just a shift in me or if this is something that you are all also noticing. And I would love to hear your take on this, this thing, like, like yarn cakes. I don't have any interest in purchasing yarn cakes. I really think that you have to have very specific patterns that really show off a yarn cake that's, changing colors or a gradient of some kind. And to be honest with you, I think I've only used a yarn cake once or twice. But yeah, I would love to know if you have seen a change in your taste with variegated speckled as opposed to tonal and solid. So I did get a yarn that was speckled, but I'll show you the first trio of yarns that I got. I got this combo, which is, it's all Malabrigo, like all except for 2 other skeins. The yarns that I purchased were Malabrigo. So these 2, I thought looked really good together. And actually the shop was having a discount on Malabrigo yarn. It was a yarn crawl yarn, and there was a beautiful knitted pattern they were offering with the yarn, but I didn't take the knitted pattern. But yeah, it's I don't know, a beautiful gray, but you can see there's these pops of color here that I thought were really pretty. Anyway, it's interesting, but it's subtle enough that to me it doesn't look like a variegated color, right? And obviously this is a solid color. Isn't that beautiful? Right? So I thought these three would make an amazing shawl. That's my intention for these yarns. Now, the other two yarns are 2 balls of Noro that I purchased that look like this. And yes, these will transition to different colors, but this palette and this yarn really called to me, and I really like it. Again, I see a shawl pattern for this. This is like a fingering weight yarn. And the price on this Noro was just amazing because they had a huge sale on it. I think they were trying to move their Noro stash. And I got an amazing deal on those yarns. Now, the next 2 skeins of yarn I saw, and again, they're Malabrigo. This is the Machita, which is a thinner yarn. And you can see that I'm very much attracted to these oranges. I'll put it closer. You can see that this yarn is speckled. And it has a lot of different colors of orange. You know, different, what do you call them? Shades of orange. But I thought this was really, really beautiful. And I feel like if you put this in a shawl, again, it would have to be like that scarf that I showed you. I would not try and do a lace pattern of any kind with this kind of yarn because you don't see it. It just completely vanishes. This is more of trying to find the right pattern that has the right stitch that will show off this yarn. And I really want to get it done sooner rather than later because I think this is a perfect shawl palette for me. And so that is it for yarn. I got that. And then I purchased a button. I think this is a button that's hand burnt, like, I don't even know what you call it. But it called my name. You know what I thought I would use this button again with see how the Citrus Beanie has this really cute bee button? I believe this is from DK Graham. But I really like this one, so I think maybe I'll be using this one on my hat as a decoration. Then I found this amazing, you guys know I love my sugar skulls. I found this really amazing bowl. And it's a yarn bowl. It has, you know, the thing for the yarn on both sides. And it's got a sugar skull. So I love that. And that was basically it. I didn't buy anything else during the crawl. But I do have something that I want to share. But you know what? Let's move on to some finished objects. Because as I was telling you the whole story of me trying to get this, you know, hat done and didn't like the yarn, I said, I need a hat. Like, I need a hat. I'm very hat light these days. Basically, all of the hats that I've crocheted, I crocheted them years ago. I don't really have, except for the burgundy hat that I showed last time from Cerulean Orchid. I haven't really crocheted a hat. And I wanted something quick. My son's in football. I spend a couple hours at practice, and that's become such a great time to crochet and knit. And it's getting colder, so I gotta have a hat. So I wanted a simple pattern, and I found the snow-capped hat by Little Monkey Crochet. This is a free and paid pattern, which means if you go to the Little Monkey Crochet blog, you can find this pattern for free. I'll put this here so that you can see it. But I often like to print my patterns, and so I don't mind paying for a PDF copy. It was $1.99. It's basically that, just, 2 pages. And so I grabbed some yarn from Stash, and it's actually the Knit Picks Brava worsted. And I made the hat. I made this hat. Great pattern. I mean, I had it memorized really quickly. Here's the top of the hat. And it's just enough detail to make it interesting. Super quick. I think I did it in maybe 2 practices. Taking it out for 2 practices. I will be taking some photographs and putting them on Instagram soon. But this is the only thing that I finished that I wanted to show you. And then I wanted to show you what yarn and what I will be doing my citrus beanie in, right? Because I still want to make the hat. And again, this yarn is from Stash, and I've had it good 3 to 4 years. It's living in my super cute Frida Kahlo bag. I purchased this bag at Stitches Pasadena. So this bag is been around for a bit, and it's from Slip Stitch Studios. She is one of my favorite bag makers. She makes amazing bags. That's her logo, and it's a sock size bag, and so it's perfect for my hat. The yarn that I decided to use, actually I wanted to show you this. Out of the ball that I used of the Bravo worsted, this is all I have left. So the pattern actually used most of that yarn, which I was really happy about. The yarn that I am using is Twisted Owl. This might have been a gift from someone, actually. I don't remember. This is a tag. If you gifted me this yarn, I apologize that I don't remember. I'm very grateful if you did gift me this yarn. And it is this really pretty sock yarn. And this is what it looks like so far. So it uses granny stitch, but it's very pretty. The pattern is great again. I can't recommend her patterns enough. She's a great designer. So that's what I'm working on, along with my knitted scarf. Here it is. I rehomed her in my Mitchell's Creation bag. This is a bag I've had for years. Tara made this for me a long time ago. And I feel like because we're going into Halloween and fall, that all my projects should be living in bags that kind of reflect that, right? I know, this one's blue, I know, but it feels fall-like to me. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but I'm like, I need a bag for this hat, and that was the perfect one. So this is my Noro Eyelet scarf. It's from, I believe, the summer issue of this year for Moorit Magazine. And I just wanted to show you progress. So when I did the podcast, the Vlogcast, last time, I was up to here, where this little coffee cup is. See my little coffee cup right there. So I've done that, but then I really did a lot, and I am now up to here, so I can. Oh, it's so pretty. So it's halfway down, but this is a really long scarf, and the goal is to use as much of this as possible. You know, like I'm using it from the inside, so it's starting to collapse. I might wind this up because this is starting to drive me nuts when it gets like this. I mean, look, I could literally stick my whole hand in it. Mittens! So yeah, I have been diligently working on it. It is one of the most perfect projects to take to football practice, and I hope to have it done. I think my mom's going to end up having this because she really likes it. So that's sort of what I am with the projects. Very, very happy. Totally have my Crojo back. I want to crochet all the things. I want to do all the things. So I'm really happy about that. Ooh. That kind of hurt. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was, I mean, you guys are gonna love this. You guys are gonna love it the way I love it. I just know that when you guys see what I'm about to show you, you guys are gonna love it. So when we went to one of the yarn shops, in the parking lot, there was a vintage market. Not a lot of stalls. There was not a lot going on, but I always like to check them out. And I came to the first stand because it had these amazing cat dolls. They're cat dolls. That's all I can tell you. And I start looking closer and I see there's crochet. Like, there's crochet in with this stuff. And I saw the lady that was there. I said, "Are you the artist?" And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "This is what I do." And I take, a lot of times vintage fabric or a vintage pattern or a vintage idea, let's just say. And I basically do my thing on it, and which is they're all cats. And I wish I could have been able to buy everything so I could show you. But I'm going to start off with her burrito. This is her burrito, right? And he's just got this cute little crocheted, I don't know, it's like a leaf, right? And she hand paints all of the kitty faces. And they've got, their little whiskers. And she sews all of this. And this is also crochet. So this burrito has a crochet tail. And I just love it. And so this burrito comes with, let's just call this his tortilla. Wait, would you guys say this is a he or a her? I think this is a he. Okay? I'm going to say this is his tortilla that he can live in. And that was the first thing I saw. And I was like, okay, why? I got to get that. Then she had these really beautiful pin cushions. So this is the pin cushion. You could see she put a couple pins on it. But the thing about this is that you can wear it. Like as you're working, a lot of times I end up, when I'm sewing bags, well, when I did that 1,000 years ago, I had like this huge mass of cushions. But now look, now I can put my pins on my little kitty pin cushion. How cute is that? Now this was not painted by her. This is actually like a little scrap of fabric. I love the imperfectness of it. I love that she didn't try to perfectly cut this kitty. I love the handmade details. I love everything about it. She's got a little flower. I love stuff like this. Then we come to, this had a barrette, like, so that you could put it on your head. I'm actually going to turn it into like a brooch. So this one's, I'm calling this one Angry Kitty. But this is another one of her hand-painted kitties. Look at the fabric she used for the ears. And she said this particular one she ran through the wash, and I kind of like that kind of faded. It's not truly faded, but I like that look. And then we come to what I'm calling La Pièce de Résistance. And I saw these and I should have bought them all because I couldn't decide. And she was telling me that this is based on a vintage pattern that was used, that moms would create these little books. They would give them to their children when they would go to church so that they would be occupied. And so what she did is she took that pattern and she created this little, like, folder. I don't know, what would you call this? Well, I'm just going to call it a book because that's what she called it. And she said that moms would put like a little bit of like, some writing here, and then it would have like a little doll that the kids could play with. But mine comes with what I'm calling, I'm calling this one Accountability Kitty, because when I see him, I think he's telling me, what are you doing? Or what are you working on? Did you do what you're supposed to do? So this is my Accountability Kitty, and he's got this little crochet tail, and he's so adorable. I just love it. I love it. So, being me, I said to Cynthia, her name is Cynthia, the name of the company is called Kitty Wampus. This is her card. She does not have an Etsy shop. There is no place online for you to buy this product. But if you are interested, I do have her information here, and I can contact her and see what she has for sale. But what I said to her was, I would love for this to be a crochet hook roll. You just have to make it a little bit bigger and like divide these and still have the kitty in there, because I love I took this kitty out while I was crocheting the other day, and I would look at it and I was like, I know, right? I got to do one more row, right? I have to have the kitty, but I would love to have just a couple of places to put maybe 2 or 3 crochet hooks and maybe like a pair of scissors, and then put a little band right here to put some stitch markers. And I'm going to contact her and see if she would make me some for my Etsy shop. I think this would be so cute. I'll show you the card again. She said her son actually did the logo. She is an Indigenous person, and so that's why some of her kitties have sort of like an Indigenous feel to them. She's super creative. She's one of these people that I think... Oh, my tea's finally ready. So I put my tea in my Frida Kahlo cup. See the Frida Kahlo? And then you see this? You see how it says Claudia there? It says Claudia, right? Everybody can see that it says Claudia. Yet my daughter takes my cup all the time, so I hardly ever have time to use it. But I had to put a hot tea in here, and I'm like, I can't drink it through the straw. I'm going to burn myself, but it's ready. Anyway, oh, I have another card I can show you. This is her card. Super, super adorable. But I was talking to her, and I'm like, oh my God, you would do so well, like on Etsy and stuff. And she's like, yeah, everybody tells me I should have an Etsy shop, and you know, I don't do it. You know, I just haven't had time, or she's a little scared of technology, I think. But there are so many talented people out there that just need that little reinforcement. And what, you know, I was genuinely excited to be in that stall. I was genuinely excited and happy to see all of these things that she had made. And you know what she said? She said that she thanked me for being excited, because she goes, sometimes I don't know that what I'm doing is, you know, not just interesting to me alone. You know, she's like, I'm happy to see people excited, because, you know, when you're making this stuff, you're like, well, I like it, but I don't know if anybody else likes it. And sometimes it's discouraging when you're trying to sell handmade things, and, you know, people don't value handmade. I mean, she hand paints this stuff. She stitches these things. I mean, I love them. I've always loved like rag dolls, not like the like traditional rag dolls, but there's some people that do some beautiful work with rag dolls, and they are pieces of art. And I actually have a couple that I've had for many, many years. And when I went to an estate sale for a quilter, I bought one of her dolls, and it wasn't a doll, it was an owl. And I've showed it on the videos before. But anyway, I came out of this whole thing super excited to see creativity and to see crocheted become part of something that kind of like came together with the sewing. It was sort of like a good mesh, I thought, what she was doing with her product, and it's unique. So that was my weekend. It was a little bit of yarn shopping, and discovering this, you know, discovering an artist, really, because that's what she is. She's an artist. So that's it, what I have in terms of what I have purchased. And I talked to you about my hat that I made. I talked to you about my Noro scarf and my, you know, my citrus beanie. And really, that's all I have, except, if you don't know what I'm about to show you, you've been living under a rock. But I've got Moreit in my hand. Oh, yeah. I'm a stockist for Moreit. You can go to my Etsy shop and purchase it. And I gotta tell you, I'm not lying. I'm not lying when I tell you this, but I got emotional. I got a little bit emotional opening up that box and holding this publication in my hand, because I'm someone who always likes to know what's going on in the fiber community. You know, I always, you know, like to see what's out there. And of course, you know, there's Lina magazine for knitting. This particular issue of Lina, actually the reason I have it is because my boss Diane Ivy, who runs Lady Di Yarns, was featured in this magazine. And I say that I'm actually in Lina magazine, and I'll show you why. And when you flip through the pages of Lina and Pom Pom and a Making magazine, you see the absolute beautiful attention, high quality, and detail that is put into this kind of publication. And we just never have had that with crochet. So this is my boss, Diane Ivy. She is the founder of Lady Di Yarns. I am the operations manager for this company, and I say I'm in Lina magazine because in this photograph right here, she is talking to me. And so you can see my name on the phone. And so I said to my husband, look, I'm in this prestigious knitting magazine right there. talking to me that day when they snapped that picture. But anyway, I say that only to say that I know Lina, I know Pom Pom, I know Maggie Magazine, and to have a publication that is crochet centric, that is beautifully produced at a level that I don't think I have ever seen a crochet publication. Yes, there are magazines. There's, Simply Crochet, Inside Crochet, Interweave. Those are beautiful magazines. I know in the States we've got, like Crochet World and that type of thing. If I've left the magazine out that that has crochet, you know what I'm talking about, right? Those magazines come out every month, and that is a different crochet product than Moreit, right? I feel like we owe Allison so much love to have had the courage, because it does take courage, right? You can have an idea and say, I wish I could, right? But to go from I wish I could to I'm going to do to here it is, that journey takes balls, right? And I thank Allison. I thank the team that put this magazine together, because you have done us proud as crocheters. And like I said, I might get emotional because I was flipping through the magazine going, oh my God, this is just beautiful. This is exactly a level of crochet that I've wanted to see for so long. And it's sort of like, I just always would say, why don't we have that? Why don't we have this level of attention for our craft? Our craft that always has taken a back, because let's face it, right? People have always seen crochet as less than knitting. It's just how it's seen, right? And so when knitting magazines or shops who cater to knitting always feed the same thing over and over again, which is, and don't get me wrong, I love granny squares, right? I love granny blankets. But if every yarn shop just keeps showing people that this is what crochet is instead of this is what crochet is, that perception just keeps staying the same, right? Right? You're going to put an Andrea Mowry sweater or a Caitlin Hunter sweater or fill in the blank well-known designer sweater next to the little granny stitch blanket that you as the owner are the one that crocheted, because that's all you know how to crochet. That's all you know how to do, right? Instead of asking a crochet designer, a crocheter, to make you a sample that can stand next to those things in the same level, right? And to show people that this is what crochet can be. That's the frustrating part, right? That's a frustrating part. And it's no hate to knitting, because I knit. Like, I like knitting. I enjoy knitting. I want to knit things, right? But what I'm saying is, we are now in a different place, right? And things like this keep our star rising. So you can find crochet. Look at this Tunisian crochet shawl. That's beautiful. You can find Moreit on my Etsy shop, in my Etsy shop right now, ready to ship. And it was important for me to do that. It was important for me to stock Moreit. And so I hope that whether it's for me or anybody else, that you support Allison and Moreit, whether it's just sharing or buying the magazine from stockists. There are several stockists in the United States that you can purchase this from. And let me tell you, it's well worth it. Not only because, as a side note, shipping charges are through the roof and they are going to continue going through the roof, but also because there are going to be significant delays in shipping starting on October 1st. As somebody who does a lot of shipping for a company, I get all the emails from UPS and USPS and FedEx, and they are anticipating the same level of craziness with shipping as last year. They're already telling us, hey, not only are we going to hike up our prices, but we guarantee nothing. FedEx used to have a guarantee for delivery. That's out the window. They are in pandemic mode. We are still in a pandemic, and it's going to affect shipping and shipping costs across the board. So keep that in mind. And you guys hear the dogs next door? Keep that in mind. And I just want to say how happy I am to stock Moreit, and I will be stocking Moreit as long as there's an issue of Moreit being published. Crochetluna will have a copy of Moreit available for you to buy, unless I sell out of everything and I have to buy more. Then you'll have to wait until I get more. Anyway, that is all that I have for you today. And with that, I wanted to tell you that the Etsy shop is open, and I encourage you to go look for some cute buttons. I've uploaded so many new designs, and I have, like I said, Moreit is available. There'll be another update this Friday with some really cute things, and I hope that you guys will join Stashtober. I actually have some stash buttons on there. Not necessarily that say Stashtober, but there's a couple Stash Buster buttons and a Work from Stash button that is available. Keep an eye on my Instagram stories. I'll be featuring some buttons this week. And I'm also, because I've been going through inventory and things like that, I'll be putting some little surprise bags together with 4 or 5 buttons at a really, really good price. And I encourage you to take a peek if you haven't. If you've been scared or shy to buy a button, this might be a great entry into Crochetluna buttons, because I work really hard on my designs and sometimes they don't work, and you've never seen the ones that don't work. Because I'm like, I don't want anybody to see this. But I do have some themed, like movie themes, show themes. They're not all about knitting and crochet. I have so many different kinds of buttons. It's over 100 designs available and more coming. And if you are tired of buttons, I don't know what to say except, I don't know. I just love buttons. And I don't do, I've been told so many times to do enamel pins. And I will probably do a couple enamel pins next year. But I will tell you, for me, buttons are fun. I like buttons. I like the price point of a button. The investment that you make into one of my buttons is something that I think is affordable to many. And I like the ability to have control over that process myself, the design process. I have a button maker that I've worked for years, from day one, who comes through. I mean, he never fails to deliver. And so I'm really happy developing that niche for myself. But other things are coming, you guys. I am working on a really exciting project. It's something that I feel is going to be, how would you say? I don't even have words, because I'm so excited about this project. I'm working really hard to bring it to fruition, and I haven't seen anything on the market like it. So I have big ideas. I have been energized. I'm going through what I'm calling a renaissance. So Claudia's going through a renaissance. And I'll be 50 next year, and it has nothing to do with that. It has more to do with finding the right motivation at the right time. And so I feel like I'm in this amazing creative space right now, which is my brain. And I was telling my husband, I said, I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders for the last month. I feel like the ideas, the creativity is flowing so well. And all I gotta do is focus, work, and it's gonna happen. And it has nothing to do with money. That's the least of my issues in terms of like, I'm not trying to create for money. I am trying to create for an experience. I want to create an experience for you guys that I think is very different from anything that you have done. And if it has been done, it hasn't been done by me. And so I am really, really excited with what I am doing. And I can't wait to take you on the journey. And it's going to be a multifaceted journey. It's going to be such a process. And I'm not scared by the amount of work that it's going to get to bring it to fruition. I'm just so pumped to get it done. And what I want also is to get you guys pumped about your work, your craft. If you've got an idea that you've been sitting on, now is the time to do it. Don't think about the obstacles. Think about working what you want to bring into existence, right? And it doesn't matter. My idea is kind of crazy, okay? It's kind of like, it's something that I think in my head sounds really good, and I might fall flat on my face. And I'll tell you this, I don't care, right? I've never not done something in my life for fear of failure or for fear that it's not going to work. I always have approached everything in my life that I've done with the idea that I'll succeed. And I haven't. Not everything has been a success. Not everything has worked out. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So if you are on the fence, if you are on this, God, I don't do it. I just want to motivate you to do it. And I want to motivate you to do it now, because what are you waiting for? What are you waiting to start that new project that you've always wanted to do? What are you waiting for to when Cynthia told me, I don't have an Etsy shop. Everybody tells me I should have an Etsy shop. And I'm thinking, you should have an Etsy shop because this product is great and you would do well, right? So if you've been thinking, oh, I don't know enough about opening up an Etsy shop, go educate yourself. There's nothing that you cannot use the Google to educate yourself with, right? YouTube, Google, blogs, everything is out there. Someone's home. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye and I'll see you next time. Hey, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give me a thumbs up. Come on, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And if you didn't like the video, then I might not be your cup of tea, and that's okay. You can move on. So I will see you next time. And yeah, go get it. Go do it. Bye.